Again, I have a hard time. Remember what we did in sixth grade? Today we're talking about estimating. The book puts a little subheading with rounded and compatible numbers. Okay, and please understand the difference between estimating and rounding. When you round, okay, let's do a couple problems just so we know the difference. Let's say round. First of all, when they tell you to round something, they're going to have to tell you what to round it to. Round to the nearest 10. Let's say 18 times 12. And then let's say I ask you to estimate 18 times 12. What would be the difference in those two problems? What's the difference between rounding to the nearest 10 or estimating your answer? Anybody? Which problem? Logan?
Rounding, go to the nearest 10 or 5.
But you could do that with estimating too. What is the difference if I asked you to estimate an answer as opposed to rounding an answer? Right.
Rounding an answer is after you solve it and then you round it.
Exactly. When you're asked to round, you actually have to do the problem out, and then you round your answer. In other words, I'm going to have to actually do this. 18 times 2 is 36. Put a 0 down there and get an 18. 6, 1, boom. I get my answer, and then I take that, and that's what gets rounded. 216 rounded to the nearest 10. Anybody out there in the mathematical world? Brooke is 220. If I'm asking you to estimate, what am I asking you to do? This, by the way, is a lot easier than that. And we usually do round to do this. We round to what we call compatible numbers, but it is what, Alex?
You take 18 and you round it, estimate it to 20, and 12 would equal 10.
Right. What you need to do is you want to make the problem so that you can do it in your head. Make the problem very easy to do. Okay, over here, this wasn't, I still had to do all the work, I just had to change my answer to a rounded sort of number. This one here, like Alex said, I'm going to change 18, it's close to 20, 12 is close to 10. I want to change it into an easy problem so that I can do it really quickly and easily. What is 20 times 10? 200. Okay, that is estimating. This is rounding to the nearest 10. You do have to, and you do some slight rounding over here to get it, but you should try to, people ask you to estimate so that you can do it quickly and then you can give them the answer. Like, if you had to estimate how much your car was cost you or whatever, you'd say, well, obviously it was $30,000. Well, if somebody asked you to round to the nearest 10, then you'd have to know what the cost is or whatever and do that there. So you should like it when it says the word estimate. For example, how about this one? Estimate this sum. Estimate the sum of, what do we got here? $8.95, $7.23, $11.42, and $6.89. So if I were estimating that sum, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to make $8.95 what right away? $9. $7.23 would be $7. $11.42 would be 11, and $6.89 would be 7. And by the way, I would let you write this down as, you don't have to copy all this down, but I would let you round your numbers on your homework there. Quickest way to do this, 9 and 11 is 20. 7 and 7 is 14, so my answer would be about $34. That would be the estimated sum of that sort of thing there. Or how about this problem? Estimate the perimeter. And I have this shape here, which is 78 by 31. This problem comes up, what's the first thing you'd have to do? Draw the shape, see we're getting there. Now, if I'm estimating the sum, what am I gonna do? 78 is probably gonna change to 80, and 31 would be 30, and what does perimeter mean?
Around the whole thing.
Around the whole thing, so I have what, 80 plus 30 plus 30. Because you have an 80 up here and a 30 here, adding them all together, you end up with 220 millimeters. Okay. Take a look at page